Hi, I'm Dr. Allison Upshaw, and I am a voice teacher at Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I wanted to read because I love reading and I wanted you to love reading too. The book that I read is called Thank You, Amu by Oge Mora, who was the author and the illustrator. It was published by Little Brown and Company. I hope you enjoy this book, and don't forget to watch other videos in this series.
All right, so are you ready to hear our book?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, this book is called Thank You, Amu, and it is by Oge Mora. Oge Mora is our author. Do you know what an author is?
Yes.
What's an author?
The book.
The person who writes the book. Oh my goodness, you guys are so smart. It is the person that writes the book. Thank You, Amu by Oge Mora. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned and stirred it and took a small taste. What a delicious stew, Amu said. Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had. Look at Amu. There's her thick red stew. Can you see it? Awesome. I know. I think that was the person who just drew it. I don't think she actually had flowers in her stew. With that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, around the block until knock. Someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw a little boy. There he is. He's so little, he almost didn't even get in the picture. Little boy, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious smell, the little boy replied. What is it? Thick red stew. Stew, he sighed. That sure sounds yummy. Can everybody go, Amu thought for a minute. Let me see you think. Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. Would you like some?
Yes.
The little boy nodded. And as Amu spooned out some of the thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal, thank you, Amu, the little boy said, and went on his way. There he is, eating the stew. That looks like it's yummy, doesn't it? With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out of the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until knock, knock. Someone was at the door.
Again.
When Amu opened the door, this time she saw... What do you think she saw? A police officer. Miss Police Officer, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious smell. Miss Police Officer replied, "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Ah, stew," she said, and her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Amu thought for a moment. "Let me see you think." There was still enough to share. "Would you like some?"
Yes.
The police officer nodded. And once again, Amu spooned out some of her thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the police officer said, and went on her way. Can you see? You think so?
Yes.
Let's see. Well, first, and so for the second time, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. Sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street and around the block until knock, knock, knock. Again, someone was at Amu's door. This time, when she opened it, she saw a hot dog vendor. "Mr. Hot Dog Vendor," Amu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was selling hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell," Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied.
What is that?
What is it? Mr. Hot Dog Vendor is a man who sells hot dogs. "What is that I smell?" "Thick red stew." "Oh, stew." The vendor licked his lips. "Yum. That sounds quite delectable." You see him?
Yes.
So Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the hot dog vendor said, and went on his way. Throughout the day, people came from all across the neighborhood and knocked on Amu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker. Even the mayor stopped by. Look at all these people that came to eat some of Amu's thick red stew. Yeah. Let's see. Well, there's the athlete, right? Oh, there's the doctor right there. I found him. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Soon the sky darkened, the street lights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Aww. Amu sniffled. "There goes the best dinner I ever had." Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until knock, 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 knock. Who could that be? Amu wondered. When she opened her door, she saw the little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker. Why, Everyone she'd fed today was at her home or at her door. I'm sorry, everyone, Amu sighed. My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share. The little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve. Don't worry, Amu. We're not here to ask. We're here to give.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is very nice. Let's see what they gave. The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies, and even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who had knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed into her tiny apartment, and together they ate, danced, and celebrated. While Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. That dinner was the best she'd ever had. The end. That was a pretty cool book.